Yeah. And what we say, New York City.
Yes, Resident Evil 7's a Play Anywhere title on Windows 10 and Xbox One. It features cloud saves cross-platform.
Man, shut your dumb ass up. What's going on, everybody? BattleTech here for BattletekHD Gaming. Welcome back. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and check out my other videos. But yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this. So, news came out that Resident Evil 7 will be a Play Anywhere title between Xbox One and Windows 10. And there are quite a few that don't know what that exactly means. And that just means that if it says Play Anywhere, it means if you buy it on Xbox One, you get a Windows 10 copy of the game. And that is handled through the Microsoft Windows Store, which is one of the reasons why I urge people to stick with the Steam version of this game. If you're a PC gamer and you're just trying to buy this game, don't get it on the Windows 10 store. If you're a multi-platform gamer like myself and you have one of these Xboxes laying around, and you're just trying to bolster your library, I still urge against it because it's just not going to be worth it. You know, and I know you're probably thinking to yourself, how is 2 games for the price of 1 not worth it? Dude, you own some shit. No, I'm going to explain exactly why I have these thoughts. Number one, the Windows 10 store is super restrictive. You cannot modify, you can't alter, modify and alter, same thing, but you can't do anything. You can't view, you can't do anything with those Microsoft games that comes from the Windows store. You can't do a thing. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Just maybe 2 weeks ago, I had a little power surge, and one of my 2 boot SSDs, those are my drives that have Windows on it, one of those SSDs died. So I had to break my RAID and just reinstall Windows on a single drive. I wasn't tripping too much because I got like 6 or 7 other hard drives in my machine for mass storage, and all of those drives have all of my games installed on them, so I don't have to re-download them. So I reinstall Windows, I reinstall Steam, Origin, Good Old Games, everything, and I go into each of those platforms and I just point them to Steam libraries that I have spread out over the hard drives, Origin libraries, and so on and so forth. When I get to the Windows side of things, or the Windows Store side of things, you have to go into your settings and you have to choose the location where you save all of your Windows apps. So I did that, and I pointed it directly to my UWP folder, where all of my games, Forza, all of that shit is in there. Microsoft does not allow you to point to existing installs of games that you've already purchased and downloaded on the same machine. You'll get a message saying something about you don't have certificate or license or whatever it is. It's a licensing and certificate issue, and they force you to re-download all of those games from the Windows Store, which, you know, doesn't sound too bad, but we're not talking about Steam, Origin, or, you know, some of the more established platforms. We're talking about the Windows Store. And anyone who's used this Windows Store to download any type of game, whether it's Quantum Break, Tomb Raider, Gears, whatever it is, chances are you've run into download issues, whether it's slow download speeds, you had downloads that paused and just hung on you at different points during the download, and when you hit retry, it actually retries and starts all the way back over from the beginning, and it's just a nightmare. I don't know when they're going to get this fixed, if they're going to get this fixed, but it's just terrible. So that, you know, I just don't like that. I want to have control over the files that are on my machine. So if I want to back up all of my game files, wipe every hard drive in my machine, and then come back with my external or whatever I backed them up to and restore those games, I should be able to do that. But you can't do that with Windows 10 games. It's ridiculous. Which kind of goes into another thing, and I'm not going to go into it too much, but in regards to Resident Evil 7, we all know that Sony secured the exclusive rights for the VR feature in the game for a full year, which is fucking stupid, because after a year, nobody's going back to play this game again, not even for VR. But, they secured this for a full year. Now, anybody who knows anything about gaming and PC gaming in particular knows that whenever a game gets released with unfavorable features or performance or whatever the case is, the mod community typically takes up the rest of the slack and they come through in the clutch. It's going to be the same thing here. I believe that when Resident Evil 7 comes out, it'll be relatively fast before these guys find a way to enable Oculus and HTC Vive support for Resident Evil 7. And they're probably going to do that through some type of mod, which if you bought the game through the Windows 10 store, you're not going to be able to install. Now, I know this only affects a small amount of gamers out there, but just the simple fact that you don't have the option. PC gaming is about options, and it's always a bad thing when options are taken away from consumers. And what Microsoft is doing right now is it's not very consumer friendly at all. Like, okay, good. I get the game for both systems, but I mean, honestly, am I going to go back and forth between my PC and my Xbox playing the same game? I think the only time I did that was with Quantum Break, because at the time Quantum Break was only available on the Windows Store, so I had to buy it on there. And just for comparison purposes, I was playing back and forth. I was going back and forth between the two. Not saying nobody's going to want to do that with Resident Evil 7, go back and forth for comparison reasons. And there are plenty of people out there that, want to do that. But just knowing that there's a version of this game on Steam that I have much more control over, I'm gonna go with that version every single time. Like, I feel sorry for everybody that bought Rise of the Tomb Raider on the Windows 10 store. I feel for them. I mean, there's so many things, like, they're getting better. They're getting better with the last few games. Forza and Gears, those did pretty good, but it's still a far cry from what it should be, on the PC platform. It should be wide open. I don't know when Microsoft is going to realize that what works on the Xbox doesn't work on the PC. And as soon as they figure that out, I think they'll be okay, and Play Anywhere will become a great thing. But until then, I just don't see it being a big value in this particular case, because it's available on Steam. And like I said, just the modding aspect alone is, that's huge, because I know a couple people that have VR headsets and they're looking for VR content. And with this Sony exclusive shit going on, somebody's going to mod it, and that mod is going to be available relatively quickly, versus waiting a full year for the official release of VR for Resident Evil 7. I've already gone on long enough about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Are you going to be getting Resident Evil 7 on the Windows Store to take advantage of the Play Anywhere option, or do you feel like I feel and you absolutely hate having your game files encrypted and locked down and just the big headache that comes along with it? Let me know what you guys think and check out my previous videos, and as always, I appreciate you guys and gals, and remember, less trolling, more gaming, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.